back with the lesson. Okay, so we are continuing with lesson number 4, the rat trap. Okay, no, I couldn't think of it, he said, looking quite alarmed. Yeah, now the rat trap seller were really very, very terrified. Why? Because that man, that army man, the owner of that iron mill, he told him that now you are coming to my house. Just looking at his condition, he thought he is the old acquaintance and he wanted him to take to his own house. But this man was really afraid in going to his house. He thought of the 30 kronos. To go up to the manor house would be like throwing himself voluntarily into the lion's den. So now, because he knows that he has stolen 30 kronos also, and now going to that manor house, going to his friend's house, the thought of a friend house, okay. So he says that he will definitely be caught in the rat trap. This is something called as a bait for him, and he will be caught in the rat trap. Okay. He only wanted a chance to sleep here in the forge and then sneak away as inconspicuously as possible. So he just wanted to move away very quietly. Inconspicuously means nobody even comes to know of it and he will go away. He just came here to take rest in the forge in the night. But this man, the owner of the iron mill, wanted to take him to his house, but he was little afraid. Why? Because he had stolen 30 kronos and he thought if he goes to the manor house, definitely he will be caught. That feeling of guilt was there, that something wrong is going to happen with me. The iron master assumed that he felt embarrassed because of his miserable clothing. What did the iron mill owner thought? That just because his condition is looking so bad, so pitiable condition was there, he was wearing rags. That is why he doesn't want to go to my house. He's feeling ashamed of his appearance. Please don't think that I have such a fine home that you cannot show yourself there, he said. Elizabeth is dead, as you may already have heard. My boys are abroad, and there is no one at home except my oldest daughter and myself. We were just saying that it was too bad. We didn't have any company for Christmas. Now come along with me and help us to make the Christmas food disappear a little faster. Now, what did he say? That my wife has already died. My 2 sons are abroad and only my daughter is there with me, and we were really thinking that on this festival of Christmas we people are alone. Nobody is there to share the Christmas food with us. Now because you have to come to my house and share the food with us so that it finishes off very fast. But the stranger said no and again no. And the iron master saw that he must give in. So what did he do, beta? He said no, and no. Okay, he was little adamant in not going there. It looks as though Captain Von Stale preferred to stay with you tonight, Saint Germestrom. He said to the master blacksmith and turned on his heel. What did he thought? That maybe he wants to stay here only in the forge. The iron master thought that he doesn't want to come accompany him to his house. He wants to stay in the iron mill only. And he told this thing to the person who was working there, that this man wants to be here only. But he laughed to himself as he went away, and the blacksmith, who knew him, understood very well that he had not said his last word. It was not more than half an hour before they heard the sound of carriage wheels outside the forge, and a new guest came in. But this time it was not the iron master. He had sent his daughter, apparently hoping that she would have better powers of persuasion than he himself. Now, after that owner of the iron mill, he went off, and he had sent the carriage. And who was there in the carriage? The daughter of the iron mill owner. Okay, he had sent the daughter, and he thought that his daughter will be able to persuade him, to request him, and bring him here to his home. She entered, followed by a valet, carrying on his arm a big fur coat. She was not at all pretty, but seemed modest and quite shy. In the forge, everything was just as it had been earlier in the evening. The master blacksmith and his apprentice still sat on their bench, and iron and charcoal still glowed in the furnace. Now everybody was busy there working in the iron mill, the apprentice and the person who was working on the forge. So now what happened? She comes there with the valet. A servant was there who was carrying his fur coat on his arms like this, and she entered in. The author says she was not at all pretty, but looked very modest. Okay. Stretched himself out of the floor and lay with a piece of pig iron under his head and his hat pulled down over his eyes. As soon as the young girl caught sight of him, she went up and lifted his hat. Now, this man was taking rest, he was lying down, okay, and with his hat on his face. He was sleeping like this with the hat on his face. The girl, she comes in, she looks at him and she just takes away the hat from his face. The man was evidently used to sleeping with one eye open. He used to sleep like this with his one eye open. He jumped up abruptly and seemed to be quite frightened. He just got up and jumped up. He was very frightened that who the female is. My name is Edla Wilmanson, said the young girl. My father came home and said that you wanted to sleep here in the forge tonight, and then I asked permission to come and bring you home to us. I am so sorry, Captain, that you are having such a hard time. What did the girl think? That he is a captain in the army? He was a captain in the army, and she says that I've taken permission from my father and I want to take you to my home so that you can also enjoy Christmas and take proper rest there. She looked at him compassionately with her heavy eyes, and then she noticed that the man was afraid. Either he has stolen something or else he has escaped from jail. She thought and added quickly, you may be sure, Captain, that you will be allowed to leave us just as freely as you came. Only please stay with us over Christmas Eve. She said that in such friendly manner that the rat trap peddler must have felt confidence in her. Now that girl was very loving, in a very compassionable way, in a very passionate way, in a very loving way. She told him that I just want you to come and take rest at my place and enjoy the festival of Christmas. But that man could not say no to her because she was so sweet to talk and he could have some confidence. He gained some confidence in her. It would never have occurred to me that you would bother with me yourself, miss, he said. I will come at once. Now that man was ready to accompany the girl. He accepted the fur coat which the valet handed him with a deep bow, threw it over his rags and followed the young lady. He took that fur coat and he just wore it like this. He took it from the valet and wore it, okay. He accepted the fur coat which the valet handed him with a deep bow, threw it over his rags and followed the young lady out to the carriage without granting the astonished blacksmith so much as a glance. But while he was riding up the manor house, he had evil forebodings. Now what happened? He just went and he was ready to go to the manor house, okay? And while he was going on the way, his mind was, thinking of all the things, that what all he has done and why am I going there, what is going to happen with me. I'm sorry, I hope, okay. Why the devil did I take the fellow's money? He thought. Now I am sitting in the trap and will never get out of it. Now, while going, he was thinking that why did I just, picked up the money of those 30 kronos from the, that friend of his home in whose hut. I'm so sorry. Just wait. I feel recording is closed.